Fellas, General Langley has been fired. The general that attacked Ibrahim Traore has been fired. Yes, the general you seem not to like very much has been fired. He's going to be replaced by General Henderson. Do you know anything about General Henderson? Is this good news or not? We're going to find out about that. What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping. You are appreciated. Before we start, can I please ask you to do this? Okay? Please let's do this. It costs you nothing. We feel appreciated. Done? Great. Awesome. General Langley, the big man. Okay? The man that everybody looked into with a different view. General Langley is the general that brought a lot of Africans and Afro-descendants into a major unity. We saw a lot of people walk down the street of Jamaica, of Trinidad, of New York, of St. Lucia, of Kenya, of Uganda, of South Africa, in support of another African, Ibrahim Traore. We had not seen such a thing in a very long time. Now the general has been fired. Why has he been fired? What are the reasons? Is this strategic? And who are they bringing in? Is this a good thing or not? Is it going to get better or actually worse? We're going to find out about that. President Trump nominated Air Force General Devin Henderson to lead Africa. In June 2025, it was announced that General Devin Henderson, a U.S. Force Lieutenant General and former commander of Special Operations Command Africa, was nominated to succeed General Langley as African commander. Now, who was General Langley and why has he been recalled? General Langley was promoted to the rank of 4-star generals in the United States Marine Corps on August 6, 2022. During the ceremony in Marine Corps Barrack in Washington, D.C., he made history as the first 4-black-star general to assume this possibility. First 4-black-star black general. That was big. Major thing. Following his promotion, General Langley assumed command of U.S. Africa Command on August 9, 2022, overseeing all U.S. military operations and activities in Africa.
I, and state your name.
I, Michael Elliott Langley,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I'll bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservations
or purpose of evasion,
that
that I will well and faithfully
I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
on which I'm about to enter,
on which I'm about to enter,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, General.
Thank you, sir.
So basically, they put him as the boss. You know, he was the boss of African Command, the boss of American soldiers in Africa. And I know you maybe don't know this, but there are lots of American soldiers in different African countries. Why are they in Africa? Well, do you want to find out about that? Oh, very simply, they say because they're trying to find a way to fight terrorism. And the terrorists are in Africa. It's just crazy because when the war started in Iraq and Afghanistan, we heard that terrorists were in Iraq, then Afghanistan. Then all of a sudden, they are in Africa now. Now, America has to send soldiers in Africa to go and protect America from terrorists in Africa. Like, how would the terrorists in Africa threaten America? Are they going to shoot like a long-range missile into Africa? It's crazy. Let's continue. So what started this? It's very simple. What started this was the stance of Ibrahim Traore. He was basically turning his face away from France and Western influence. He was very slowly pushing his country toward independence, but also diversing his partnerships. And they didn't like that. And very quickly, General Langley made a comment about Ibrahim Traore. Like that was like not necessary. Listen to this.
Absolutely, Chairman. I see this, and I don't mind calling them out, but Captain Traore and Burkina Faso, as they know that both, whether it's their gold reserves, that is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime. There's a number of examples across.
So this is crazy, fellas. I mean, he said they're using gold for their benefit. He looks angry as if they were taking something away from the United States of America. In fact, he wasn't happy with the fact that Burkina Faso was diversifying their partnerships. Okay, Russia, China, Turkey, good away with the France, and using their gold finally for themselves. That pissed him off. Well, Ibrahim Traore, after hearing this, and you guys running through the street, this is what he said.
But why do black people have to keep playing the bad roles? I think that if he had this interview, he should look at himself in the mirror, feel ashamed, and come out to say, well, I was given a false report, I regret it. He needs to say it publicly. If it was a false report, then it was made. Because it's possible that he was given a false report and that he could come out and say so.
Traore was very strong. He wasn't scared at all. He said, I'm very surprised to see this old man, telling lies. Like I said to you earlier, in Africa, when people refer to you as an old man lying, it's like you're not respecting your age. Okay, so how are you talking about this? And by the way, this is our gold. It's not yours. Why are you worried about our stuff? Traore was like, I can't believe this, because it's sad to see it's always a black man that is sent to destroy another black man. He didn't see the fact that he was American and he was African. He saw the fact that, but this is a black man like me. We've been oppressed for hundreds of years, if not thousands. Why are you the person that's coming to oppress us again as we're trying to free ourselves from oppression? Now, Traore also said that if Langley made a mistake, he should, feel okay. Just come say sorry, man. Just say, okay, maybe I was misled. Because Traore said maybe he was misled. Maybe that doesn't come from him. Maybe the information he's received are not correct. So it's okay that he says sorry because, well, I think I didn't get the right information. Because if you look at Burkina Faso, it's moving forward. They're building roads, they're building infrastructure, they're building hospitals, schools, and many other things, the industry. So after verification, you could say you're sorry. The response of Langley was not that.
But my cautionary tale was just from a military perspective. That was a Senate Armed Services Committee asking me a direct question.
As you can see, his ego was big. Instead of putting it down, say, okay, well, maybe we need to look into that. We'll have a discussion. He said defensively, I was giving my perspective from a military perspective. Like, I'm the expert about your life, so you should be listening to me. Is that condescending or not? So again, why against Traore? It was very simple. For the very first time, a young African man taking leadership of the country. Because usually when they come and they're young, they steal, they loot, they destroy. This wasn't the case with this man. He came talking about diversity. He looked away from France and all the colonialists. He looked for partnerships with the Russians, with Turkey, with China, who are enemies of America in terms of geopolitics. They didn't like that. He called for a brand new situation. He spoke a brand new song to the African people. He chanted a brand new melody in many people's ears. That's the melody that still brings you here when you see Ibrahim Traore's name, because he touched something within most of the black people's hearts. Like, we can unite, we can come together, we're actually capable of doing positive things. And this obviously is not what they like. They want us to be separated. They want us to be divided, because divide and conquer is easy. If you united, it's very difficult to bring trouble within a group of people that's united. If you want to overtake, you want to subdue them, you have to separate them. That's why when they arrest people that are criminals, you know what they do? They will interview you together, then they will separate you so they can break you down. But he said you did it. Oh no, I never did it. No, he said you did it. We're going to release him. Oh no, it's not me, it's him. That's what they do. Divide and conquer. Ibrahim Traore lately said that they are trying every single day to divide us. They're speaking every single one of us, referring to Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. They're trying to break us away from each other, but we will not allow that.
But why don't the imperialists want this union? But I'm not naive, he knows why. And it's the same question that those who still tend to sleep should be asking themselves. Why don't they want us to unite? Why does the Confederation scare or bother some people so much? Because we are approached every day by these imperialists trying to get one of the three of us to betray the others. We have been facing this for a very long time. Every time.
So Langley is recalled for many reasons. One of them is the African footprint in Africa has shrunk. Yes, they're not as influential as they were before. On March 16, 2024, effectively ordering approximately 1,000 American troops to leave the country, Niger asked them out. So Niger kicked away Americans out of the country, 1,000 of them. Well, that was very simple because the Nigerians, when they took power, they wanted diversity. The Prime Minister of Niger flew to Iran to go have a meeting with his counterpart in Iran. As he was holding a discussion with his counterpart in Iran, guess what happened? Well, the American diplomat said, oh, we know you have gone to Iran. You are going to sell them uranium. You know what uranium for? Yeah, uranium is what you need to build an atomic bomb. So you people from Niger, Africa, have gone to Iran to sell them uranium so they can create an atomic bomb, which was not truth at all. Now, the goal was what? Their goal as American diplomat was, if we accuse them, usually when we accuse people of doing something, what they do is they come back justifying themselves, saying, no, we're not doing that. We are not selling uranium to Iran. What are you talking about? And once they come trying to negotiate themselves back, then you can control them. But that wasn't the case with Niger. The reality is when the Prime Minister of Niger came back from Iran, they said to Americans, why does this concern you? You cannot control who our friends are. We make our own choice on our partnership. You know what? By the way, you can take your troops and leave. Okay? You know what? Take your troops. How many you got? You got about 1,000, all of them. Take your stuff, leave. And all your logistics. Well, America had built an airport base, a drone base where they flew from to go and do operations and watch terrorists and make sure they do surveillance services from Niger. They were forced to lose that base. And you know what Niger did again? They called the Russians because America were like dragging their feet before they left. They called the Russians. They say Russians can come and occupy the same lands Americans are occupying. So there were Russian soldiers and American soldiers in the same lands. Now imagine at what time that was. That was exactly at the time when Joe Biden was still in power. And Joe Biden, remember, with the Russian going to Ukraine, was a big mayhem. So just imagine you're trying to fight the Russians through Ukraine, and all of a sudden they've called the Russians into the military base where you are in Niger because you say that Nigerians are talking to Iranian. That was the case. Now, shortly after that, fellas, an American senator went out ballistic. Listen to this.
And I've received the letters from the wives, from the fathers of the people who are in Niger now, and they say, we know that our family members are being extorted by the local governments when they try to leave, hundreds of dollars to even bring a bag through the airport. We know that Russians are behind the wire. You know what a real U.S. president would do? Say that C-130s are on their way to Niger today with the water and the medicine and the food our troops need, that they will have a full fighter pilot escort there. And if the Nigeri government or any other third world thug tries to even turn on their air defense systems, we should show those leaders and those thugs what the target package looks like on their houses and their family members, because it should not be Americans that are suffering because President Biden and Blinken are so embarrassed that their strategy in Africa failed that they're willing to let Americans' conditions deteriorate.
I mean, you heard that? Yeah. So literally he said, if we had a strong American leader, president, we would have never left Niger when they asked us to leave their country. It's their country, but we would have never left. We would have gone back there with aeroplane and bombed the hell out of them if they dare to switch on their defense system and show them in their lands who we are. You see where we're going? Do we live in freedom in this world? I don't know. And I know this is not a stance of all Americans. This is a senator speaking. But where does he get the guts to speak like that of other people's nation? Well, fellas, in late May 2025, the U.S. delegation led by Will Stevens, Deputy Assistant Secretary of State of African Affairs, visited Ouagadougou to have a discussion with Ibrahim Traoré. Why? Because they felt like Langley had messed things up, you know? He was too strong, too hard, because initially he came into that position with the goal of, let's put a black face to run the African issues. Because that's what they do most of the time. When they want to discuss with you, they send a black face. So you feel like, it's one of our cousins is going to be okay. No, not necessarily. Because remember, back in time when Russia went to war, they said any African nation that they to discuss with Russia, or they side up with Russia, or they do business with Russia will be sanctioned. It was a black lady from Senate that was speaking this way.
If a country decides to engage with Russia where there are sanctions, then they are breaking those sanctions. They're breaking our sanctions, and in some cases they're breaking UN sanctions with other countries, and we caution countries not to break those sanctions, because then if they do, they stand the chance of having actions taken against them for for breaking.
There was another man, I don't remember his name, from the Senate as well, who said we need to punish people that are cooperating with Russia. He was a blackface. Now, the same thing when it comes to Africa. Let's send him a Langley, he's a black man. They will not look at us, this one is our family member, not knowing he's in there for the interest of the state. Now, to clean up, they sent a diplomat to go have a discussion with his counterpart in Burkina Faso. And when they asked him a question to say, how do you feel about what Langley said? He said, I've come here for positive news.
I come today with a positive message. It's a message that we want to find areas where we can collaborate, build our mutual trust, and identify opportunities in the fields of security, economic, and humanitarian cooperation.
He won't say that for nothing, right? Okay. He said that because he knows what came out of the mouth of Langley was not necessarily positive. So they had to do some cleanup. The visit aimed to initiate a pragmatic restart. You hear that? A pragmatic restart in US-Burkina Faso relation, emphasizing mutual respect and cooperation. Do you read that? Yes, because restart. Why do you restart? You restart something that's broken or a computer not working or bugging, right? Let's restart a pragmatic relation based on respect. So, what has Langley failed at? Langley, number one, because of him, African footprint shrunk in Africa. They were kicked out of Niger. They were later kicked out of Chad. I forgot to tell you that. Yes, it was kicked out of Chad because Chad said you don't have documentation to be here. You need to leave. My father, the ex-president, allowed you to be here, but no, I don't think you should be here. That's the son president. I think you should leave. They left. So they kicked them out of Niger, kicked them out of Chad, and other different places. Number two, failed communication. He couldn't communicate appropriately in a manner that Africans understand and appreciate. He was too strong, too pushy, too brutal. Number three, some people suggest he failed to deal with Traore appropriately. Some people talk about some situation where they thought they were going to take him out, just like they've taken out many people. This is not necessarily confirmed, but it is a position. It is a position many people have. Intelligence service failed because he failed in deciphering what they really meant, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, and they were strong about it. They took them very lightly. In reality, they were not light. Now, fellas, in June 2025, it has been announced that General David Henderson, a U.S. Air Force Lieutenant General, former commander of a Special Operation Corps in Africa, was nominated to succeed General Langley as AFRICOM's commander. Now, who is this man? He's also being promoted to 4-star general. He commanded special operations in Africa in 2019 and 2021, leading 1,700 personnel in counter-terrorism missions against Al-Shabaab and Islamic State in Sahel. This happened in Somalia. So he's done missions in Somalia before. He's a pilot, yes fella. He's done 3,400 hours of flight and 700 hours of combat. He did many operations in Iraq and Middle East. Now, the reason why they've taken this man apparently is because he got very strong core attitude of conservative. Remember, it's a conservative government. Very strong attitude of conservative. Is this going to be pushier? That is something we need to find out. Let me know how you feel about this. Do you think General Langley could have handled himself differently? Do you think Africa needs the United States of America in the form of AFRICOM? Or do you think Africans need to build themselves and protect one another in a way that Africans can do? Do you think America is in Africa because America really loves Africa, or America is in Africa because they need to have influence and control, and it's a way for them to push back Russia and China's influence? God bless.